Just get it back to the start.
Right, so hopefully everyone can see our presentation. No one's objecting, so I'll start. Right, good morning. Welcome to the Engenium Careers presentation. We are coming to you here from the Engenium boardroom in Christchurch. My name is Jeremy Mitchell. I'm a structural engineer and director of Engenium. And I've also got here Stephen Holmberg. He's an engineer with 4 years experience with us. And Tim Phillips, who's a graduate engineer with 1.5 years experience. And they'll be talking to you about their experiences with working at Engenium. So Engenium is a commercial consulting engineering firm. We employ about 35 staff based in Christchurch. Our focus is structural design, but we're complemented by an architectural team and a civil engineering team. And we undertake the design project management role. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that in the next slide. So Engenium, our focus is on structural engineering design, and we work in the industrial, office, retail, and sports stadium sector. And we do this throughout New Zealand. At the moment, we're working from Invercargill to Auckland and many places in between. We have a particular expertise in precast concrete and structural steel design, and we're recognised industry leaders in precast concrete construction. We also work with structural timber from time to time, and we expect that we'll be working with it more as structural timber becomes more popular and commercially viable. A key point of difference with Engenium is that we undertake the design management role. So clients come to us and they get us to design the entire building, not just the structural engineering. And we do this for about 70% of our projects. When we do this, we either undertake the architecture ourselves using our in-house team, or we hire an external architect to manage them. We will also do the civil engineering ourselves, and we will hire the building services engineers. So that's the fire engineer, the mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, and sometimes a few others. So we encourage all of our structural engineers to learn about the entire building design, and we provide them with the opportunity to become design leaders if they're interested in that. The majority of our clients are actually builders and contractors. They hire Engenium to design the buildings that they build, and that's under a design build instead of procurement. Because of this, we're obviously working a lot with builders, and we've developed a deep understanding of how to design buildings which are easy and practical to build. So why should you as a graduate choose Engenium? We have a strong team of experienced engineers to learn from. You'll get to work on large, interesting projects throughout New Zealand. You'll get to work with contractors and learn about buildability, and this will make you a better engineer. We will give you the opportunity to learn about the entire building design, not just structural engineering, and we will invest in your professional development, either from in-house learning or external seminars, or by simply putting you on a large, complex job with a mentor. Because of our approach to this, we have a strong history of successful chartership applications, which we are quite proud of. So I'll just show you a few photos of buildings that we've been involved with recently, just to give you an idea about the sort of work that we do. This one here is the Porsche building in central Christchurch. It's a structural steel multi-storey building, so steel framed, con-floor flooring and bucking strain brace frames. This project here, this is Project Secura. It's just been completed out in PUNGA in Christchurch. It's a 35,000 square metre manufacturing facility, which is a really big building. And just because of its sheer scale, it was quite an interesting project to work on. And this one here is Kmart down in Invercargill, which is opened around about a year ago. And that's a 2-storey building, concrete construction with steel K-brace frames. So now I'll hand you over to Tim, who's going to talk about his experiences as a graduate engineer.
Hello everyone, my name's Tim. So I've been with the company for about 1.5 years now. So I think I'd talk to you a bit about, I guess, what I've been doing and potentially how that'd be quite similar to how you'll be staying at the company. So when you first start off, you'll be paired with a mentor who is one of the experienced engineers at the company. And they'll essentially guide you as you start beginning off, I guess, your full-time working as a graduate engineer. So when you first begin, you'll be given a practice project, which is a project that the experienced engineer completed recently. And it just basically gives you a chance to learn, I guess, take all your skills that you learned at university and then correlate them to a real life building. I'm not sure if what your experience was like at university, but something that I found was a lot of it was quite, a lot of it I learned before, but it was on a very small scale. And in scaling that up to an entire building was a little bit daunting. So just having that chance to work on a practice building is definitely something I very much appreciated. And then once you've completed that, you'll then still work with that same mentor and you'll work with projects on them and you'll be given a small part of the project to work on. So you may start off, if you start off in the industrial team, you'll start off, you may just design the portal frames and see it's relatively was a more important part of the building. There's definitely a lot more to it than that. And then on your second time, you may do the lateral system. And then on your third project, you may do the office. And so once you've started getting a few projects under your belt, you essentially piece together the entire, an entire industrial project, which will eventually build up into you getting to work on the entire project yourself. But then you'll still have that support and guidance of that mentor engineer. So it's definitely saying you'll get lots of exciting and challenging projects. And I'm going to show you one that I worked on the next slide, which I'm quite proud of. And by getting working on these projects, there's definitely a lot of opportunities to learn relatively quickly. It's definitely, you will be given a fair amount of responsibility. And so if you take that on, it's a great opportunity to learn really quickly and really develop yourself as an engineer. But then you still have that guidance of that mentor and all the other engineers in the office. And one thing we have is we have an open floor plan, which makes it quite easy and approachable because it is just sliding my chair over to the desk next to me to ask someone a question. And it also really helps that everyone is really friendly and great to work with. Everyone likes to have a laugh and it just makes that less daunting having to go up and ask someone a question that you may not be too sure of. And then we also have weekly engineer meetings, which is just a good opportunity to sit and listen to senior engineers talk about a topic, whatever it may be, and just getting that chance to listen in, and it's a great opportunity to learn. So there's a couple of photos there you can see as a project that I worked on in my beginning. So this one, see, as you can see there, there's the portal frames and the bracing up, and the bottom left is the completed photo. And one thing that I really like is that in terms of the scale of project you can work on, is we have this, and then on the next slide you can see here is this quite large industrial building. It's a 40,000 odd square metre building. And so I had the opportunity to work on one of the workshop canopies and the 2-storey office, and it's definitely something I'm very proud of. And so in terms of my involvement, so it was my first time that I got to work on a 2-storey office. So it gave me a little bit of that taste of that multi-storey design while still being not too difficult. So but I still got to be able to design the diaphragm, the suspended floor, the shear walls. So it was a great opportunity. and Earth should begin construction soon. So definitely saying that when that's complete, I'm going to be very proud of. And in terms of what I've learned over my year and a bit as a graduate engineer here, so just being able to follow the design from start to finish. So we also, for the builders in Christchurch, will do our construction monitoring. So I'll go out and do site visits. And I think it's a very important part as well, because in terms of your design, it doesn't matter how good the design is if you can't build it. And so when you go out on site, you may, and when you first start off, you may not be sure why we design some things the way it is, or you may see something that we're building that you're not sure about, but then once you get the opportunity to design it and see it built, you definitely get that a lot better understanding. And buildability is definitely a very important part of being a good engineer. And then just lastly, something that you may not really touch on at university is making sure that everything is coordinated. So as Jeremy mentioned before, that since we take on the lead designer role, everything kind of goes through us. And so we have to make sure that the architecture is coordinated with the structure. So definitely make sure you have good communication is something that I found is very important. So now I'll pass you over to Stefan to talk about some of his projects.
Yeah, hi, I'm Stefan. I've been working with the company for 4 years now. And yeah, I guess I'll just take you on just about what comes after being a graduate at Engenium. So I think the key thing is you keep learning and you keep taking on complex and interesting work. But the difference is you have a bit of a toolbox now where you can actually address bigger problems and take on more of the design. So here's just a couple of photos on this slide with some of the projects I got to work on. There's Top Mac in the bottom left, and there was a 2-story office and warehouse I got to design, and then 2 really long portal frame buildings with offices on the right. So I think the other key difference with when you've been working in Engenium for a bit longer is you actually start to be looking after the project team. So you're directing the architect and you're directing the drafts people and making sure all those coordination points are happening. So I think it's a really good opportunity as you learn quickly that you're the project leadership for what you're designing. And it adds a real interesting aspect to every job. And then I guess the final point I'll touch on is now working for 4 and a bit years is I'm really focused on getting my chartership. And Engenium offers a lot of chartership support. So Jeremy was saying that they'll send you on seminars to start learning. I attended the NZSEE conference at the uni last year, and that was awesome. 3 days of learning about seismic engineering really bolstered your toolbox. Yeah, so I guess working at Engenium is definitely more than just beam design that you might find at other consultancies. So just to finish off my piece, I'll talk about a career highlight of mine. So early on, I got to work on it was the construction monitoring part of the Alexandra Park Auckland project. So I got to help out the team sort of solving on-site problems that came up and really achieving a complex building construction. I actually got to design those green frames on the right there, and that, again, is another serious highlight of my career. But yeah, just all these things that Engenium expose you to is just great for developing yourself and your career. So I pass you back to Jeremy.
Right, where to from here? So we're looking for 2 to 3 graduate engineers plus summer interns. So if you're interested, please email us your CVs. The details are on the slide. We would also welcome you to get in touch with us, maybe come into the office, have a chat, we'll show you around if you want to know a little bit more about us. So yeah, thank you for your time this morning. And I'm not sure if, is there question time? Yeah. Okay, is there any questions? No one's volunteering.
Must have covered it too well.
just a reminder to the students watching, you can put them in the chat if you don't feel comfortable speaking out. You've also got one question in the chat now.
Oh, yeah. What is the work-life balance like?
Okay, well,
I can take this one because I'm actually a member of our social club. So another thing that we offer is, so we have a social club, which is we put in, so everyone in the office, we just put in $5 every fortnight, and then basically we allow that to build up, and then every so often we will go and do something that everyone's keen on. So we haven't just been able to much recently because of COVID, but got a few things in the works. So that's stuff like, we did some movies. Last year we did archery, we did blow karting. Not sure if you guys know that one. So we just do lots of things that we just decide is fun, that where we can let off some steam and everyone can just have a bit of fun. And other than that, it's also just every Friday we have drinks at the end of the work. Put some chips out so everyone can just sit down, have a yarn, have a talk. And I think it's a good way to let off steam and just be able to chat with your peers and the senior engineers without, I guess, the pressure of it during work time, or it has to be about work. So I definitely think it is quite a good work-life balance and good way to let off some steam and have a bit of fun.
And I'll just add to that. So there's no requirement to work ridiculous hours. Some of the engineering team work just 40 hours a week, and some do a few more hours. And you do find that you get in what you put out. So you get out what you put in. Sorry. So people that do a little bit more work learn faster. So they just simply progress through their career faster.
Yeah, I think it is just up to you,
Expected work hours is 40 hours. But again, the people that do a few more hours to learn, progress through their career.
Yeah, and those extra hours, they don't have to be, I guess, time working on projects. It can just be you doing a bit of research about something that you did in a project, or we talked about one of those engineers meetings I mentioned that you maybe just want to learn a bit more about. So that just, they don't have to be working hours. They can just be, doing research, doing your CPD, stuff like that.
And if you want to talk to one of the engineering directors, the best time to catch them is after 5 o'clock, where you can sit down and work through a problem and learn from them. Any other questions? There must be another one. No more questions. Rightio. Well, we might leave it at that then.
Sweet. Thank you very much, guys. Glad they got some questions in the end, and they're good questions as well.
Awesome. Right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Oh, one more question is there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening, guys.
See ya.